Chelsea Northrup look familiar, it's because they've been on Nyberg before. And this time they're going to talk about going to Puerto Rico and helping take this kind of water, which is not clean at all, which is what they're dealing with right now, and make it clean. So, two photographers from Connecticut, why did you decide to go to Puerto Rico?
I had been looking for ways to help, and I donated to a few charities, and one of my friends reached out to me and they said, I heard you have family there. I'm working with the Salvation Army. Do you want me to go and check with them and see if they're okay?
Where is family?
I have family in Añasco, Puerto Rico, and Bayamón.
And they're up high in the hills, Chelsea?
No,
where do they live?
They're in more urban areas. So I had heard from them and they were okay. And so I told my friend, I said, they're fine, but is there anything we can do to help? We've been wanting to help. We have a YouTube channel. We can, spread the word, and maybe we can send water filters there.
And as we talk about this right now, last week the island was plunged back into almost total darkness again. As we speak today, half of the island still has no power, right, and many of the people still don't have drinking water that is safe to drink. As you walked on the island, what did you observe people doing? Were they bathing in dirty water? Were they trying to drink it? What did the two of you find, Tony?
I think bathing in dirty water is standard for people who don't have power, because of course if you don't have power, you don't have pumps to run your water. So people would take their pickup trucks and they'd have big barrels, and they would go to wherever a stream was or some sort of water, and they would fill it up. And they would say that they would use this for washing their clothes and bathing and that type of thing. But as we talked to people, we found a lot of people were drinking that water too, as you will when you're thirsty and you don't have access to clean water.
And it's 88 degrees.
I was just going to say, it's hot.
You're working all day cleaning up debris out of your yard. I mean, they don't have an option. I think people say, why would you do that? But when you're thirsty and you don't know when your next delivery of bottled water is going to come, you have to stay hydrated. You dehydrate in only a matter of days.
What did you observe among the children when you were watching? What were they doing? Were they trying to help get bottled water? Were they, they're playing among devastation.
Yeah, they were helping their families. So we would pull up to a watering station. They would run these PVC pipes into the hills, and they would take the natural water and lead it down to the road so people could collect it. So you'd see kids with buckets and gallons, and they'd be filling them with water to take home.
Did you observe enough help on that island when you were there of federal agencies?
It's almost a politicized issue now, but I will say it's been amazing the efforts and coordination that we've seen between FEMA as well as commercial organizations donating their time like UPS, and nonprofit organizations like the Salvation Army, the Red Cross, everybody really working together to bring the people the resources that they need, or at least maybe not all the resources they need, but as much as they can possibly deliver in the form of food and water.
There's a lot of effort, but the devastation is so widespread that it seems like people are overwhelmed.
As a way to set up what the two of you found, let's take a look at a video that you guys shot.
Okay.
Just picked up Tony and Chelsea. We're headed to UPS to pick up the water filters. They just arrived, a bunch of them today. The UPS facility has been destroyed basically, so we have to drive around to this back parking lot to try to pick them up.
You can see everything's just ripped apart. This whole building's ripped apart. Like, this is all carrots, and they have tons and tons of water, 250,000 bottles of water. They emptied it out and delivered it, and they're getting more deliveries today. They said by the end of the day, this entire warehouse will be full again.
So a few days ago, I was scouting and I ran into a family, just really poor. They don't have a means to get around, and they were drinking out of the river next to their home. They were all sick. So I thought this would be a great place to distribute some of the filters as soon as we got them in hand. Here we go. Okay, so just want to take a box and some water now? They're waiting. They're waiting. Yeah. Are you drinking this water? Take it.
Thank you.
You're welcome. These are from photographers from YouTube, because they care about you guys. So one of the challenges with water filters is making sure that the people who need them most get them. We saw people at a water oasis on the side of the road, and we decided to pull over and see if we could convince them to use the filters.
Now it's safe.
All right, so Chelsea, these are the filters
Yeah.
that you guys took down there. Where did you find them?
So we had the idea to bring filters, but what we didn't realize is that not all filters were good enough. We had to find a purifier. This not only has a filter, but it has iodine in it, so that you're filtering out chemicals as well. Not chemicals, sorry, but parasites, things like that.
You raised money by, was it a GoFundMe site that you,
It's
got
called
going?
chuffed.com. It's like GoFundMe, same concept, crowdfunding, and we raised over $50,000, and we got this company, Water One, to provide their filters at a discount.
And how did you end up finding these? Because the first filters you found weren't good enough for the government, correct?
Right, so I had to use my contacts with the Salvation Army, and they were going in and they were talking to the Department of Health and showing them the documentation I'd found on the filters and trying to get them approved. The first filters were not approved by the Department of Health, so these second filters that I found were approved. Once I had the approval, I could buy a large amount of them and have them shipped to Puerto Rico.
Tony, as you were handing these out, did you find people trusted you or didn't trust you, or did they look at that like, oh gosh, I don't know?
They were definitely skeptical. Even though many people knew they shouldn't be drinking the water, people were doing it anyway. But when we presented them with the option of using the filters, they didn't necessarily believe us, because they'd heard so many stories of people getting deathly ill from drinking the water. So you're almost putting your life in the hands of a filter like this.
And you guys are strangers, and you go, here you go.
Yes, exactly.
You could see me drinking from it in the clip, because my philosophy was, if I wasn't willing to drink the water, why should I ever expect them to?
Right.
So I had to really trust what I was bringing to them.
So show me what is in here and how you put this together, what's in the kit.
This kit, these are the kits that you saw us giving out. This is the filter here, and you can see that the water goes in this end and the clean water comes out this side. So you can use it as a pouch and just squeeze out the water.
We should point out that this water was this color, which is dirty, and it comes out clean.
Right.
So now it's drinkable.
Now it's drinkable.
Now it's drinkable. What else is in here that you gave to folks?
The setup that we went into people's homes and we actually set up these filters for them. This is a gravity bag. So you hang the bag and you use these tubes, and that way they can have a hanging bag that they just fill from the top. So instead of having to squeeze out a bag the whole time, they have this set up over a clean 5-gallon bucket or whatever, and they can fill it with their natural water source and then just have a constant stream of clean water. And this is good for 300 gallons. Try putting that into plastic bottles. They don't have a lot of good recycling in Puerto Rico, and that was a concern of mine. You can't keep redelivering plastic bottles day after day to families, and you can't keep littering the island with these empty plastic bottles. So we needed something that was going to be reusable and easy to deliver, and this is a great solution.
Was the devastation there what you thought it might be as photographers, or was it worse?
It was far worse, I thought.
Yeah, I would say that you didn't see, I mean, you saw buildings and homes with the roofs completely gone and people still living in them. All the vegetation was pretty much falling over and dead. It's staggering, absolutely staggering. No, almost all telephone poles are down on the ground, and still power lines just running across the street.
Chelsea, do you speak the language?
I speak some Spanish.
Some Spanish. What did they try to tell you as outsiders off the mainland? What were they telling you that how they were living?
They just said they needed help, and they were so appreciative that people were thinking of them, and they felt desperate. I mean, we're delivering boxes of food to them, but nobody wants to live out of a box for their next meal. Nobody wants to worry about when water's coming or when their power will be on or if their kids will go back to school. So the feeling I was getting was desperation, and they feel forgotten.
Do you expect that you'll go back?
We talk about it a lot. There's still so much there to do, and I think that people are helping, and you can tend to feel, you know, just content with the idea of other people being there helping, but they still need more hands. They need more volunteers. They need more people willing to go down and get their hands dirty and help people out.
As we read about the devastation in Puerto Rico, there are a lot of articles now being written about, and you kind of hit on this, is their mental state and how much more they can take. We are 7 weeks in now.
Yeah.
And some folks say it'll be 10 years before that island gets back to whatever kind of normal that they know.
Yeah.
What did you find the mental state to be when you were there?
People are resilient. I don't want to use the word upbeat because I think that paints a rosier picture, but they're resilient and they're hopeful people, and they have a good community and they try to help one another, but still they're concerned.
When people are gathering water to put the water through these filters, where are they getting that water? From streams? Where's that water coming
One
from?
family was using a stream in their backyard that was contaminated, so they were all sick. And so this option is far better than drinking that, obviously. A lot of people are using the Oasis water, which is water brought in big barrels on trucks, and others are getting natural water from streams up from the hills coming down through the PVC pipes. But those can have minerals that make people very sick. One boy died, an 18-year-old boy died, and they can get contaminated easily as well.
How do you wrap up a trip like that and explain it to somebody if you had to give a lecture on it? What would you say to them?
It's difficult because it's life-changing and it's something that you have to witness. We did make a video out of it and it was really difficult to capture all of that. I would say that I think if you have clean water, you should appreciate it and you should do everything you can.
We think nothing of just, going and buying this.
Right.
This is something so precious that they don't have.
I will always appreciate the clean water that I have for the rest of my life after seeing those people without it.
Thank you both for going to Puerto Rico and for helping people, and I hope you do go again because we need to be reminded of just how bad it is on that island.
Right.
And we can't just forget about it and as you point out, let somebody else do it.
Right.
We all have to do our part. So thank you very much.
Thanks for having
Thank
us,
you.
Ann.
You bet.
Spend all night kissing, and if one was right here, then who else is missing? Got a little sidetracked, if I'm a wishing I found the keys to the door, but it's also a metaphor. Need to keep locked in the grocery store, but mine just to save time. Skip right ahead to the last ride.